Hello and welcome to another Quality of Life Tools add-on demo. It's been a while, but that's because I downloaded Baldur's Gate 3 and that bloody thing swallowed a month of my life. It's a fantastic game, don't get me wrong. Just don't play it if you don't want to lose a month of your life. Anyway, this add-on is for QOL HUD Distances. As you can see, it measures the distance between any two things, be them objects or, let's go, components, so vertex to vertex. Any two things, it will measure the distance for you on the fly. Now, before we go any further with this, I'm going to actually turn it off so that I can explain, cycle that one to off, so I can explain why it's better or preferable sometimes than the built-in measure tool. Now, the built-in measure tool is very good, don't get me wrong. But say we want to measure between two vertices, that one and that one, using the measure tool. We would just drag, there we go, that's 17.401 meters. Oh, no it's not, it doesn't line up. Now what you can do is you can snap the ends to the ends, which is already a bit faffy, isn't it? But if you were then going to, say, move an object, and there we go, it's useless already. So we could move that. And there we go. See, I've already messed that bloody thing up, haven't I? As you can tell, I'm not a huge fan. I find the measure tool just a bit faffy. So let's go back into just object mode there and cycle back to having on QOL HUD Distances. Right, so as I say, it measures between any two things. Object mode here, notice that it is measuring from the origin to the origin of these two objects. If you were to select another one, it would go away because you've only got two things measured. If you were to move an object, by the nature of what you're doing, you would have to select one object to move it. And there you go, you've only got one object selected. You need two to be able to measure between them. So what we do is we lock that measurement. Lock selection is in the preferences for the distances panel. That button there, that will now lock them so that always it will remember what it's supposed to be measuring. Now the only reason that lock button is in the interface is so that you can right click and add your own shortcut to it. And believe me, you really want to do that. It's very, very handy because then you don't need to have the I'm just going to change the size of this so you can see what's going on screen here. Then you never really need to have the end panel up again. It's nice and out of your way. I like things as uncluttered as possible. So now it's hotkeyed. I can lock and unlock selections on the fly, or unlock components or measurements. So anyway, let's get back to what we were doing, actually measuring things. For example, measure the distance between that one and that one, but we're going to parent those two. So that one and that one. Now, I didn't lock it, did I? There we go, lock. And it respects even things like parenting. It understands exactly where things are in 3D space. Be them objects or components, whatever you have selected. As long as you've only got two things, it will remember. So there we go. And the last thing I was going to point out here was we have a third way of measuring things. So from one point to another isn't always what you were looking for. Say you want the Z distance or the X distance of that vertex to that vertex, say. So let's unlock and go from those two objects, and we want to go into, no, let's go edges. From that edge to that edge. Okay, we might want to know the X, Y, or Z distances of that instead of the direct measurement. And for that, we can cycle between the two. Between the styles of measuring, sorry. So as you can see, it's measuring in the X-axis, 6.79. Well, you can see for yourself exactly what it's doing there. Let's just lock those and say move that edge here. Let's just move it, and you can see it updates on the fly no matter what you're doing. Alright? If any time you find this version of measuring, a little cluttered, I don't like things cluttered, you can always cycle that off or to direct line again. Unlock that, and yeah, there we go. I do a lot of architectural and engineering previs, and believe me, this is invaluable stuff to be able to measure things on the fly. It's a hell of a time saver. I use it all the time. I hope you can see a value in it too. Hope you enjoy it, and yeah, look out for more add-ons from QOL. Thank you again for now. Bye-bye.